I mean, from a young age, I started watching films and I guess sort of taking note of the way things work. Like for example, like Alien and Blade Runner, they're two completely different films, but there was this guy at the end of the film, Ridley Scott, and he is the person that was in charge of everything. And these are two completely different films, but it's the same brain making it. And I just thought it was really interesting how you know um, people can go from one genre to another and do it well. And it was that kind of expressive medium in these different sort of genres that interest me. Um, I think it is important to actually know the theory of the film and like the different the way it's been influenced in the history of film. I don't think that you can teach someone necessarily how to make a good film. You can teach them the camera moves and so on, but you can't teach someone how to make a good film. Um, that's all because it's really all subjective, isn't it? What is good and so on. But yeah, I think if you studied the grades and you can see what they're doing. I think it's 5 years actually, but I mean,
5 years into it.
so yeah, but I mean, well, I learned how to use a camera, so that's
Always
great.
helps.
Yeah, I learned how to write a script, to edit, um, hopefully to direct actors. Um, again, obviously different people have different approaches, but I think very much the technical side. None of which I knew before I started the none of which I knew before I started the course. So I use Final Cut 7, which is uh, outdated maybe, um, but it's what I use. I know everyone's sort of shifting over to Premiere, and I'm being forced to kind of learn that. But I'm going to use Final Cut until they don't allow me to anymore, and After Effects to for, do visual effects and Audition or Soundtrack Pro to kind of clean up the audio and. Yeah, I think that's pretty much. I think I'm forgetting something, but I think no, those are the main ones. Yeah. So it's a absurdist thriller about a woman who sells her soul to the devil, and then when it is time for him to collect, she wants to renegotiate the contract. And so obviously that in itself is just ridiculous. So that's why I'm not. It's a serious film, but it's aware of what it's doing. Or I hope it's aware of what it's doing, so that there's an element of satire to it. Well, I mean, I was writing my dissertation on David Lynch, and I was really interested as to how he could create such. His films are scarier than most horror films. I was really interested as to why that was. Because it would just be a guy walking towards a wall, and you know, it's the most terrifying thing. You can see, and then when you actually he reveals what's behind the wall, that's scarier than probably what you were thinking. So I was wondering as to why that is, or why in some horror films. Well, I mean, I'm not making a horror film, but why in some horror films, when they just give everything away, they're really crap, and then when you don't show anything at all, they're slightly better. But when you do show the thing, it's more powerful than what you were thinking. I was just interested as to how that could work. So it was really sort of David Lynch, and that I just wanted to explore the different types of ways of telling a story without necessarily dialogue, just with sound or you know images. It was extremely difficult, but I split the costs of the film between the two other people in the group. So in that respect, it was easier on me, but it still set us back quite a lot.
Can you give the audience a rough estimate of how much it actually cost you?
So bearing in mind, I have no money. I think it was about £1,400, and we still haven't finished shooting yet. We're on Casting Call Pro, which is a website for actors, and I was just looking at people who could possibly fit the part. And I sent him the script, and he emailed me back. He said, could you send me some of the stuff that you've done and your cinematographer has done? So I sent him that stuff, and he emailed me back maybe like a day later saying, so I've read the script, saw your stuff, I love it, I'm in. What was quite amusing is that he accepted the role before we actually offered it to him. So, in that regard, that's how we got him. He just went out for the role and got it. But, it was, obviously, he was one of the people that we set out to try and get, and we were lucky just that he liked the scripts enough to want to do it. Yeah, no, he mentioned that he was in Mission Impossible 5 that they're currently. I don't really like the kind of, I guess, to make the romantic comedies or the action films or the horror films. I really like sort of dramas and thrillers. There's an argument to be made for art house because it focuses more. I think my films focus more on character thoughts and actions rather than maybe a down the line plot. So maybe more art cinema than mainstream cinema. Not to obviously call myself an artist and so forth, but I think it will definitely influence more by art cinema than mainstream cinema. If only even to learn, the hardware or the software aspects, the actual technical side of the course. Definitely to learn about that. But like I said before, you can't really teach how to make a good film. I think on the job experience, it's more if you sort of want to learn how to, I guess, become a good director, cinematographer, so on and so forth. Then it's working with other people, collaborating, and talking with them. I think, but this course is really good to sort of learn the technical side or theory of the film or something. Once I finish shooting it, I'm going to edit it, and we've got to do some ADR, and then I'll probably have to cut it down and so on. I'm not actually sure whether or not that's additional dialogue recording or automated dialogue replacement. I don't know which one that is. Same issue, but it's when you re-record lines because you didn't get them right on the day. And so and we have to do those with the actors and some Foley work, which is just re-recording sound effects that weren't correct on the day. So after we've done that and it's all edited, a good thing about this course, again, part of the criteria to pass is that we actually have to submit the film to film festivals. So that's going to be pretty good for, I suppose, getting work out there. And obviously it's going to be put online. So hopefully people see it. And also, some of the directors I worked with previously, they said, once you have sort of something for us to, show employers, we'll pass the stuff along. So hopefully this is going to be the film that gets me a job.